Hello, everyone. Welcome to Google Hangouts. We're all going to introduce ourselves, but first, thank you guys for being here. We're going to spend the first 30 minutes or so answering all of your planned questions that you asked on Facebook, and then we'll go into an open Q&A where we will answer all of your questions that you're asking live right now. So if you want to begin and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Julian Pradeep. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I'm an NBB major here. Some stuff that I'm involved in on campus include college council. I'm a supervisor for intramural sports, and I'm on APO, which is a service fraternity.
Hey guys, my name is Grace Cleland. I'm a sophomore originally from Washington, D.C. I'm a business major and a minor in comparative literature. And I'm here on campus. I'm involved in the business fraternity. I serve on the Student Government Association and the Undergraduate Business Council. I serve on the Student Alumni Board, and I'm involved in Greek life.
I'm Natalie. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, sophomore studying business and education, and I'm involved with Greek life, admissions, a consulting club that we have on campus, and Emory Women in Business.
Hey guys, my name is Kenny. I am a neuroscience and behavioral biology and international studies student on campus. I was raised in Italy for about 12 years, but then moved to Naples, Florida. That's where my family lives now. On campus, I'm involved with research at the Rollins School of Public Health. I am involved in the Haiti Neurosurgery Initiative, which is a nonprofit, the Emory Undergraduate Research Journal, and I'm a 1915 scholar, as well as a tour guide.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. So I noticed that a lot of your questions revolved around academics. So my first question is, what classes did you guys take first semester, and how did you choose those classes?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. So I was very unsure of what I wanted to do with my college career. And so I went all over the place first semester. I took a freshman seminar in dance. I took some science classes. So I took chemistry. And then I took psychology, and then I also took a class in comparative politics. And what's great about being in a liberal arts college, in a sort of sense, with the College of Arts and Sciences, is you get this opportunity to take so many different classes that just fit whatever interests you want, even if you're unsure about what you want to do.
Yeah, and another thing I'll highlight is that Emory's general education requirements. So I actually love them. So there are different basically requirements that you have in different areas of study. And you can fulfill them in a number of different ways. So if you're not a math person, there's you could do math and music or something that really fits your interests better. And I love the GERs because my freshman year, I was able to take everything from linguistics to calculus, to Shakespeare. And that was because of, Emory's liberal arts curriculum. So it was great.
And the very awesome thing is that even with your freshman classes, you'll be able to take classes that are, medium-sized as well as small-sized. So, for example, last semester I took an Italian 470 course where we talked about food and Italy as a nation, and there were only 4 students in the class. So it turns out that these 4 students and my professor meet almost monthly to have dinner now, except that the class was last semester. So, it's through these small connections that you get to make friends as well as really, enjoy the subject that you're taking.
That's awesome. So how did you guys go about enrolling in your classes? And I think Kenny can answer this because he is a freshman, so he just went through this process.
Yeah, okay. So at the very beginning of the summer, you'll have a chance to sort of select different courses that you would want to take later on in the fall through the course atlas. And then at the beginning of August, you'll be given the opportunity to choose the first 8 credits of your first year course load. The thing is that as a freshman, we sort of encourage you to take less credits, possibly anything below 17 credits, but then the cap is set at 19 for your first semester. And that's usually 6 classes.
Yeah, so just for reference, about 3 credits is equal to 1 class, 4 credits more for the science classes, which include a lab. So 8 credits signing up for at the beginning of August would be about 2 classes. And then when you come on campus, you'll choose the rest of your classes.
My favorite thing about course enrollment was actually the amount of mentorship that I got. I was coming in I have no idea how to enroll and I have no idea what I want to take. And I had people at every different touch point helping me. So everybody from my orientation leader, we can get into that later, to my faculty advisor, to my major advisor, to older friends that I had, were all kind of helping me through that process. So it's definitely not something you do alone.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll kind of piggyback off of that. You mentioned academic advisors. So what sort of academic advisors, academic resources have you guys been able to take advantage of during your time here?
I guess I'll begin and then everyone else can pitch in. So one of the things that I really love about Emory is the fact that every single staff member, every single faculty member, and every single one of your peer mentors are going to be there for you throughout your time at Emory. So when I came to Emory, I had my orientation leader who sort of helped me acclimate into the college. But at the same time, I also had my PACE advisor. As you may know, PACE is Pre-Major Advising Connections at Emory, which is a course that you'll take prior to coming to Emory as well as during your fall semester. And you'll have your professors, you'll have your upperclassmen friends, and you'll have your sophomore advisors and resident advisors. And aside from that, you'll have plenty of other people.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about sophomore advisors because that's one of the unique things here at Emory. So if you are first year at Emory, you live with actually a few sophomores along with your resident advisor. And so those sophomores are there purely for you. They're there to help you along the way, to guide you. They're just sophomores that live in the dorms with you. Any questions that you have, any concerns. I know that I was really concerned about what to take second semester and I had no idea. And I just sat down with one of my sophomore advisors that was living in the hall with me. And he just guided me through everything and just told me to go with my heart, which was really, really, really sweet. So.
And one of the things is that never be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you mentioned sophomore advisors. So in your first year residence hall, which is where you will be living, you will have a sophomore advisor and a resident advisor. And so these are just wonderful resources for you to figure out what classes you want to take. If you don't know where something is on campus, you can find out that way. And they're just there for you to make your experience as good as possible during your first few months at Emory. Okay, so what is the Emory Alumni Network like?
I can speak to that. I engage with the alumni network a lot because I serve on the student alumni board and I go to a lot of different alumni events. The Emory Alumni Network is unlike any other, in my opinion. A lot of my friends and I talk about this, and one thing that I've noticed about the alumni network is that they're always willing to help. So I'm a business major, so I started networking, right when I got here, and I have so enjoyed just reaching out and getting coffee with alums or, meeting them at alumni events or information sessions for companies, and they're always willing to help. There's just such pride in their alma mater. There's such pride in that shared connection of Emory that they're so willing to help and so willing to communicate. So that's something that I've noticed. And they're all also doing really impressive things, which is awesome. I love reading about, what our alums are doing. It's incredible.
That's true. Yeah, we have a lot of events that will be Emory alumni working at different companies in Atlanta, or they will even fly in from other cities just to talk to current Emory students and to answer their questions and to help give them opportunities. So as Grace said, the alumni network is absolutely amazing here.
And it stretches far beyond business. I don't mean to just kind of pigeonhole it there. A lot of my friends that are, in different disciplines, across disciplines, you'll find an alum that's doing what you're doing and can engage with you on different levels.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to move a little bit into residence life, which we previously mentioned. And so a question that you guys asked was, how do I choose my residence hall? And does someone want to talk about the survey process? How you take a survey?
Yeah, I'll take that. So when you apply for housing after you've enrolled at Emory, there's a list of questions which basically specify what type of person you are, what type of person you want to live with, and you'll fill out the survey. And if you don't already have a roommate in mind, it'll match you with somebody that either complements you or is very similar to you in their interests. And so basically, I know that I went through this survey process and I was very happy with the roommate that I got matched with. And so I would say that's a fairly successful process, and that's what Emory provides. So please don't use other resources, because this is what Emory provides is 100% guaranteed to work in the sense that in the technical aspect of it, and you won't get any scam or anything like that. And I was very happy with it, and I know a lot of other people were.
Yeah, some of the questions they ask in the survey include, when do you like to go to sleep? Do you sleep on with a lot of background noise? How can you sleep? Do you like socializing in the room? So, the technical process is pretty straightforward and helpful.
Yeah, so I actually met my freshman year roommate at Admitted Students Day, which I highly recommend you all coming to, just a pitch for that. But so I met her and we got along great. So I ended up requesting her as a roommate. So you can request a roommate, or you can take a really extensive survey that it's really thorough and it'll help you to be matched with someone you're really compatible with. Okay, so I have a question about hall themes. So hall themes are more common in first-year dorms as opposed to upperclassmen dorms, but do you guys want to speak about your hall theme and how that's kind of incorporated into your residence hall?
Yeah,
Definitely.
so also included in the survey are some questions that will kind of direct you towards like what kind of theme housing you'd want to live in. So all of our first year residence halls are themed, as in they have like a specific direction that a lot of the events are catered around. And it's not necessarily what you do your whole time in that residence hall, but there's a lot of events there that may fit your interests. So for example, my residence hall is themed social entrepreneurship. I live in Raoul Hall on campus, and basically that means that we have a lot of business-related events or a lot of nonprofits coming in, and we do a lot of like social activism related things in Raoul. So it's just a lot of things that I was interested in. So I'm really glad that I got placed there. But I know my roommate may be a little less interested, but it's just not something that he has to interact with like 24/7. But it's still like a good presence.
On the other side, for example, Turban's theme is fusion and engaging in the liberal arts. Just at the beginning of the year, we went to an 80-36 dinner, which is a dinner in which you'll get to eat lunch with everyone in your hall. Well, dinner with your hall, not lunch. And we met a senior who's about to graduate from Emory, who did his research on the intersection between photography and the aesthetics of the environment. And we were really exposed to the interdisciplinary academics that occur here at Emory. And themes like these really do open your mind about what's going on around you, and they really do drive your interests forward or backwards.
And Julian mentioned that maybe his roommate isn't as interested in his hall theme as he is, but what's really cool is that you can actually attend any residence hall themed event. So I went to an event my freshman year in Dobbs, which the theme at the time was leadership, and they had a speaker come in and they said anyone can come. So I went and got to interact with that community too. So I really think that the themed housing at Emory is a really great resource for your first year. So I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I kind of want to transition this to Atlanta now. So where do you guys like to go off campus?
So I we have the unique opportunity here at Emory to take advantage of something called the Emory Experience Shuttles, which occur every Saturday. And basically they take you to really amazing places around the Atlanta area, around Emory. For example, like last week we went to, I'm blanking, but like the week before, the shuttle went to Piedmont Park, which is like a great location on campus. Off campus, but hosts like a bunch of amazing events such as like art festivals. It hosts Music Midtown in the fall, and so like when I go out to the Atlanta area or off campus to Emory, a lot of time I take advantage of these shuttles and go to the places that they go. So.
Right. And I don't have a car, but I use the experience shuttles, and I also use my friends that have cars as well. And my engagements with Atlanta have kind of centered around two things. The first is food, and the second is internships. So in terms of food, I'm such a foodie, and I love brunch in Atlanta. It's wonderful. I love dinner. I love all meals in Atlanta. I especially encourage you guys, if you come to visit campus, to check out some of the great places to eat around here. It was one of the things that truly drew me to this area. And another thing is just internships. So I've had such like a network of resources here. Atlanta is such an up and coming city. And that was actually one of the reasons I ultimately chose Emory, was because I didn't want to be, in the middle of nowhere. I wanted to be close enough to a cosmopolitan city that was up and coming, that was perfect for millennials. And I totally found that to be true. So I've done a lot of interviews in the city and met with a lot of alums actually. So it's been really great.
Also, one of the things is that, sometimes going to Emory, you feel as if you sort of go to Emory, Georgia, because Emory is always thriving with events and things to do. And it's always fun here in our Emory bubble. But sometimes when I do realize that I also live in Atlanta, which is, one of the most vibrant and energetic cities in the world, I immediately want to do things, around the area here. One of the coolest things that I've been able to do in downtown Atlanta actually was visiting the Center for Civil Rights Museum. It was probably one of the best experiences, and you'll get plenty of opportunities, to sort of broaden your horizons and become a tourist in your own city.
Great. So my next question is regarding the food plan, the meal plan. So our two freshmen want to talk about how that works?
I'll begin a little bit, and then okay. So So as a freshman, you'll be required to purchase an unlimited meal swipes. And let me tell you how it has been the greatest thing that I have been able to take advantage of my first semester. So the Duck, as we call it, or the Dobbs Market, will be the sort of the main cafeteria that the Emory students will be able to take advantage of. And the thing is that with our new food company this year, we've been able to sort of get food from a 40-mile radius from the Duck. So that means that every single produce that you'll be consuming at the Duck will be absolutely fresh and a product of really the sustainable initiatives that Emory will want to take advantage of. Personally, and I'm going to be very honest, I know it might seem a little bit skeptic, but the Duck has been my favorite place to eat this year. I love it. The cooks put their hearts into the food, especially at the Fusion Center, the Fusion Station. It's my favorite. But again, there's plenty of other food options that my colleagues here can expand on.
Colleagues.
I'm going to talk a little bit about like the food options on campus. So as Kenny mentioned, as a first year, you'll get unlimited meal swipes. Along with that, you'll also get 100 Dooley dollars, and Dooley dollars are basically they're like a replacement for cash, but on your Emory card, and basically they can be used at local restaurants or places on campus. And so the different dining options you have are the Dobbs University Center Market, which Kenny already mentioned, where you can use meal swipes. Late night dining options, there's a few late night like cafes that you can go to where you can use your meal swipes, such as at the rec room, which is in one of the sophomore residence halls. First years can go there too and use their meal swipes, and so the unlimited meal swipes really come in handy.
And then Emory Point and Emory Village.
Yeah.
Emory Village has a Chipotle within very close walking distance, so that was also a bonus.
That's true. Yeah, so along with the amazing food that we have at the Duck, I personally probably went in there like 4 times a day because you do get unlimited food and it's wonderful. It's so good. There are also really great options to go off campus, whether it be Emory Village or Emory Point. So if you do want to go out to dinner on Friday or Saturday night, you have that option as well, and it's within walking distance for sure.
And
go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So throughout some holidays during the year, like for example Thanksgiving or St. Patrick's Day, or even the Caribbean Week that the ACES organization hosts on campus, the Duck will actually make a special menu for that specific day. So for example, this past Easter, while I was personally on campus, the dessert station at the Duck was unbelievable. We had Krispy Kreme treats, chocolate eggs, and chocolate cake.
Every Easter related dessert that you can possibly think of was there. And like for Thanksgiving, just another event, like there was just like you got your Thanksgiving feast right there. There was no missing out. And so it was just
I'm pretty sure they could do a whole Google Hangout on food.
You never get bored, like as much as you never.
That's very true. So true. Okay. So we have a lot of really, really involved people on campus right here. And so a lot of you guys wanted to know, how do you get involved? How do you know what your options are on campus? So maybe do you want to quickly elaborate on what you do and how you got to that place?
Absolutely. Before I actually say that, I want to let you know that before coming to college, I was very scared about every single organization that I would have had the opportunity to join. And when I got to college during orientation, I went to an activities fair that exposed me to the 450 organizations that are here at Emory on McDonough Field. It was a whole afternoon of me just learning about these organizations. After exploring them, I was able to just get involved with a few, and I'll let you know more about it. Okay, so the first organization that I'm involved with is Hating Neurosurgery Initiative. It's an organization that I actually helped co-found in the college. And what we do is that we fundraise money in order to send neurosurgeons from Emory to Haiti, which is a third world country that needs a lot of sustainable healthcare initiatives. Aside from that, I'm very super ultra involved with research. At the beginning of the school year, I applied to the SIRE program, which stands for Scholar Inquiry and Research at Emory. So SIRE is a program funded by the Office of Undergraduate Research, and I was able to get matched with a faculty member at the School of Public Health, which is absolutely amazing. His name is Dr. Gary Miller, and in the lab, we study Parkinson's disease and its many biomolecular underpinnings. So I dedicate a lot of time in the lab And aside from that, I'm very involved in the Emory Undergraduate Research Journal, which we recently actually published since last year. I'm a 1915 scholar, which is an opportunity that you'll be able to take advantage of if you're a first-generation student. There's several opportunities for you to get these resources through organizations like these. I go to Central Latino often to reconnect with my Hispanic roots. And aside from that, I am a fervent and super enthusiastic tour guide. I like to brag a little. I love tour guiding and showing Emory around to people like you. And aside from that, I also work in the admissions as a digital ambassador.
So that wasn't enough. You'll find that one of the things that I really was attracted to Emory was that you'll find that everybody wants to be involved. It's not something where you just go to class and go home. It's very easy to get involved. I put my email down probably for like 20 different clubs. And then I was able to pick and choose. But one thing that I wanted to talk about was leadership. So that was something that was also really important to me. So I came from high school where I got to be, the leader of everything. So it was really small. And I was worried when I came to college that I would get lost in the shuffle. And that has in no way happened. I am actually a leader in probably all like 7 or 8 clubs that I'm involved in. I get to be the president of the professional business fraternity as a sophomore. So there's so many opportunities for growth, which I thought was really something that I was looking for in organizations, and being able to lead them and nurture them and that kind of thing. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. So they've talked a lot, so I'm going to keep my answer a little brief. Again, I'm very involved with leadership on campus. It's something that I'm also very passionate about, but I want to talk a little bit about sports on campus. So I played basketball in high school, but I knew that coming to Emory, it's a lot more competitive environment. I also have to pay attention to my academics. And so I decided that I would take a little bit step back, but thankfully there's a lot of great opportunities to still participate in sports at Emory if you're not on a varsity team. There's intramural sports and club sports. Personally, I'm really involved with intramural sports. I play on an intramural basketball team, an intramural volleyball team, an intramural 4x4 soccer team, and I also supervise and referee intramural sports. Everything to do with intramural sports. And so if you love sports and you think that, possibly that you couldn't get involved in college, you really, really can.
They let me do it. And if you know me, that's funny. So.
And then we also have professionals that can also train you, play Emory and all of that.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of different courses that you can take on campus related, as well as seminars and a lot of great trained professionals that will guide you through a sport that you want to learn, or if you want to take a class on weightlifting or something like that. And so you get educated in anything that you want to.
Every Friday at 6:30, I dance salsa with a professional from the Salsa Club of Atlanta.
That's amazing. And to talk a little bit more about sports. So I have a lot of friends who are on varsity athletic teams. So they're playing D3 level sports, they're traveling, and yet they're still so involved in a lot of different parts of campus, which I think is amazing. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Mara, who is literally the president of 3 different clubs, but she's also on the varsity dive team, and she recently went to nationals, which is insane. And she just does so many things, and she's just one example of so many student athletes who are very involved in different parts of campus. So don't feel like if you are going that varsity athletic route that you can't be involved, because that's definitely not the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should we move on to questions from?
Yeah. Do you want to read some of them?
Yeah,
okay. I'm gonna have to scoot in a little bit.
So it looks like the most popular question is 5 questions in one.
Yes. Let's see.
They're in order of most popular.
Oh, they are. Ooh, okay. So someone asked, what are the classes like, lectures, discussions, how it's led by the professors, and what are your interactions with the different students? Sorry, I have really bad distance vision, so.
Do you have to walk anywhere, or are there buses on campus that take you to certain points? Thanks. And so it's a little bit of a combined question. It asks about what are the classes like, and how do you get involved, get around campus, and how do you get to your classes?
I'll answer the classes question since I've taken a lot of them. So one thing that I enjoyed about freshman year was that I felt like I had smaller class sizes than I was expecting. So, if you're in one of those general education requirements, maybe a chem or, foundation level business prerequisite, it may be a little bit bigger and a lecture style. But my experience has mostly been with very interactive classes and discussion sections and that kind of thing. I actually had a class last semester that was 9 people, and I loved it. We got such personal attention from the professors. So I would say, there are lecture style classes, and those are are, just as engaging. It's not like they're huge. My lecture style classes were like 50 to 60, so it wasn't bad. The teacher still knew my name. I still talked a lot. But there's also, those wonderful opportunities for personal engagement with your professor in a discussion, like humanities-based class.
Yeah, the great thing about the professors here is no matter what class you're in, they're always focused on their students. Like, even though this is like a research university, and a lot of professors have research that they're involved with, like, in fact, like, a lot of times they'll want to involve their students with that research too. So it's not like they're like completely isolating you. In fact, they're wanting to involve you more. And so that's what's great about Emory, like in particular, that I really liked when I came here, is the fact that I'm like, maybe my biggest class this semester was my biology introduction class, which you expect to be big because like it's one of the introductory classes, but I got really, really involved with my professor, and like I started getting into like her research, and she brought me into it a little bit. And so like, even though I'm not necessarily going to be a biology major, I got like my professor really focused on me, which was, a nice surprise even in a large class.
Dr. Spell is the absolute best, by the way. That's his biology professor. So another question here asks, what are the different interactions with the different students on campus? So I'm going to talk to you about a struggle that I had last semester and how that completely faded away into this semester. So as an incoming freshman, you'll meet about 1,600 people at once. Through different orientation activities in your hall, on your floor, in your classes. It's going to be a little bit overwhelming, and sometimes it may be a little bit challenging to find your group of people right at the beginning. And that's what happened to me at the beginning of the semester. I was involved, and I was taking a lot of classes, and I really didn't have time to find a group of people that really suited me as a person. So now, in my second semester, I've taken less credits to go out and meet as many people as I can and be as involved as I can with all of my classmates. And now, on campus, I'm constantly saying hi to so many people, and I feel like I'm a part of the community, and I'm finally thriving in a way that I really want to here at Emory.
I think that's awesome. If you don't mind, I could I could provide like a different side of that story too. I was so nervous. I went to the same school, K through 12, and I was like, I've never made friends before. I don't know how to do this. And I actually had an experience a little bit different from Kenny's, in that I found the orientation process to be the most conducive to making friends, in that you're meeting so many different people. And I felt like even in the first semester, I was able to say, that hi all the time. And that's where I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Emory's size. Emory is the perfect size for me, at least, and it was my perfect fit. It's small enough that you are saying hi to so many different people that you see throughout the day, and that was true of me on like week 2. I was calling my parents like, I feel so popular. I can say hi to all these people. I have so many friends, which is something that can happen with a smaller university. But it's big enough that I'm meeting new people every day, and I'm constantly impressed by the new people that I meet. So I just want to say that about size.
Again, about size, I'm going to talk a little bit more about transportation on campus, because we are such like a little bit of a smaller size university, even though like we do a lot of amazing things. What's great about that is that you can walk pretty much everywhere on campus. And if you don't want to walk, there's always the shuttles and buses on campus that will take you around. We have one called the Loop, which basically takes, as the name sounds like, it takes a loop around campus, which is really nice. But I personally have never taken a bus. I walk everywhere, and just like to my furthest class, it takes about 5 minutes. And so it's pretty short. Everything's within walking distance, and like, which is great because like if you ever need to rush somewhere, which you usually never do, it's just right there.
Yeah.
And some places are a little bit tricky, like for example, the CDC or Emory Point, if you're in Whitehall and Emory Point, it's like on the opposite side of campus. But the thing is that you have the Loop, which is this Savior shuttle that brings you all around campus. Yeah. And there's like a stop every 2 minutes.
And there's other buses too, which will take you off campus too, if you want to go.
Definitely. Okay, so I'll click done on this question.
And then whatever the next top question is.
The next top question is this one. It's about Greek life, and it says, what is Greek life like on campus? So I think Grace and I can take that over, but something that I do want to reiterate is that a lot of my friends are not involved in Greek life. And so it's one of those things that's great. It's a really great option to have if you do want that, but at the same time, it's less than a third of our campus. So don't ever think that that's something that you have to do to have a lot of friends, because I would say half my friends come from Greek life, half don't.
Yeah. For example, like Kenny and I are not involved in Greek life currently, but we are like both very, very involved in clubs and things on campus. And I would say like our life is fulfilled even without Greek life.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm in Greek life, and it's not that it's not a priority for me, but it's just that I have so many other involvements and engagements that it's definitely not the reason I came to Emory or the be all end all deciding process. I have enjoyed it though. One of my favorite things about the Greek recruitment process is the fact that it's deferred rush or deferred recruitment. So I had a chance, and sorry, what that means is that you start, finding a matching process with the sorority or fraternity in January, as opposed to a lot of schools doing it in the fall, right when you get there. And I think we've talked about this before, how much we enjoy, making those friends and joining those clubs and getting acclimated to the community before you join the Greek community. And so I could even almost say that a majority of my friends are not in the Greek community, and that's okay. And I also enjoy, Greek events as well. We have philanthropy events, we have social events, and many of those are, open to the entire university. So whether you do it or whether you don't, you can decide when you're here. I decided when I came. I didn't know before. So, I mean, it's a positive thing no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to reiterate that I think it's great that we have delayed recruitment. So you don't have to know going into your first semester at Emory whether or not you want to be a part of it. But it's really nice because you get to feel it out. You get to see, oh, this might be something I want to go through, something I might want to join. And it's been a really positive experience for both of us. But as you can see, you don't need to be involved with Greek life to have a really great social life. Okay, so I will click done. Okay.
You'd save that
so
one to the end. No.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
We'll just go ahead and answer it. So someone says, I'm currently deciding between Emory and a couple other schools, and I have not had the opportunity to tour Emory. And what about Emory made you choose it over your other options? So I think a lot of us were in this position. So you can start.
So this is, I guess, the general why Emory question. I honestly, I wasn't able to visit Emory before I applied, and so I was very, very skeptical going in, and I ended up having to choose between Emory and two other schools on the West Coast, and I'm from the West Coast, so I was like, why would I even think about Emory? But just the fact about Emory, the fact that it's a medium-sized research university kind of sums up what it's all about. The fact that there's so many amazing opportunities here, and the fact that it's also just a small campus environment. So you get to interact with so many different people. You get to form so many different great relationships. And so talking to some of some people that I got to meet here, I got connected with a few upperclassmen through hangouts such as these, or just through people that mutual friends. And I figured out what all the amazing things there were and the opportunities at Emory.
That's awesome. My why Emory is pretty short, and it's one word, and it is people. So I obviously was looking at the size, I was looking at the city, I was looking at the academics. But once you reach a certain point with a lot of these schools, those begin to blur together. So I was really looking for a huge point of differentiation, and I found that with the people. So I actually did get a chance to visit Emory, but this is by no means, a requirement for choosing Emory. But I actually did get the chance to visit and was able to have lunch with current students, and I attended a class actually during one of the admitted students' days. And I was so overwhelmed by the people that I met. It was people that were passionate about something, anything, different things, and people that were talking about that. And I walked through campus and I saw so many different organizations that were talking to each other about, important issues, or they were just having fun. And they were just people that I really connected with. So what I encourage you guys to do is to find those people, whether you're visiting other schools, whether you're visiting Emory. Talk to the people, talk to the current students, go beyond the admissions office and see if you can kind of delve in, because for me, I couldn't be happier with the people that I found here. So
yeah, I definitely want to second that. The people are incredible. I can't tell you how much I've learned just from my peers alone. And that was something that I was really looking for in my college experience. So if you do want that diversity, if you want to meet people from all over the world, then Emory is honestly the place for you. And I came to an admitted students day as well, and I absolutely loved it. By no means do you have to do that to love Emory as well. And I recommend you use the Facebook page. You reach out to all the current students on that page and ask them questions, because they're there to help you. They're there because they love Emory and they want to answer your questions. And I just want to add another thing to that. Another reason why I chose Emory was the professors. And I know we talked briefly about that, but they are honestly incredible. So I go into office hours, I talk to them. They're genuinely interested about whether or not I understand the material, how I'm doing just in general in my life. They want to know how my internship search is going. literally anything that's going on in my life, they want to know and they want to help me with it. And they're all doing research in their own fields, and they're just so knowledgeable. So I can't speak highly enough about the people or the professors.
So I chose Emory because of two reasons. The very first one involves me having the greatest opportunity to visit campus when I was a senior in high school during my first semester. I was able to come here through the multicultural programs here in the Office of Admissions through this program called CORE. And well, I remember just walking by the statue of Dooley on campus, right by Osprey Circle. And I remember just standing by the statue of Dooley facing Osprey Circle. Remember, this was in October. So, students were walking back and forth down and up the hill that leads up to the dock. And of course, in Osprey Circle. And my heart got full in just 1 second. I felt, this sense of solemnity in a way of the fact that Emory was giving me this feeling that it was a school where you go here to learn and to become a better person and to just become more open-minded about everything that you can possibly think of. And at the same time, I got the click. I got that sort of spark that you only need once to really fall in love with a place like Emory. The second thing was something that really validated this initial feeling. When I met Dr. Spell, Julian and I's biology professor, I already knew her because she was the professor who inspired two freshman students in her 2014 cohort class to invent a quicker way to detect Ebola. These two freshmen were challenged by Dr. Spell to come up with something that nobody had ever come up with before. And these two freshmen took her word at heart and did that and came up with a way that, sort of changed their own ways of thinking as well as the detection of a deadly virus.
And again, this was a first year. This is an intro level class. Like they weren't very experienced in biology and all. They were just two students who came together, who happened to meet and be friends, that just came up with the help of their professors and the motivation that Emory provided them, and also the great students that go here, that just all came together to produce this amazing effect.
And at a place like Emory, it's not just Dr. Spell. It's every professor. And aside from that, it's every one of your fellow students, who are here and who genuinely feel as if just because we're 18 years old, it does not mean that we cannot change the world, I, as an 18-year-old at Emory, know that I can change the world through what Emory gives me. I can open all of the doors that I could possibly ever want. And it's just, that amazing, privilege and just.
Well, I'm feeling inspired.
Just in case you don't know, something Kenny mentioned in his first point was Dooley. You probably all know this by now, but if you don't, Dooley is our unofficial mascot. So we have our official mascot, which is Swoop the eagle. Dooley is a skeleton, which you can read a little bit more about the backstory online or something like that and search him up. But he's like the spirit of Emory. He's what brings us all together. And coincidentally enough, right now we're going through Dooley's week, which is our spring spirit week.
Who's on campus right now?
I think it's DJ Khaled, actually.
I'll give you a comment right now and then upvote it if you follow DJ Khaled on Snapchat. So he's here right now, and you can watch him performing at Emory on his Snapchat story. Fun fact.
Or on the Emory Admission Snapchat story.
Oh yeah, fun fact. Add at Emory Admission on Snapchat to see all throughout this month a lot of current students who are taking over the Snapchat account for a day, and you get to see campus, you get to see what they're involved in, and that's a really fun way to watch them. But yeah, DJ Khaled's here.
Yeah, again, that's at Emory Admission.
At Emory Admission. Yeah, so that's going on. That's Julie's week. It's our second spirit week, so we also have homecoming week in the fall,
which is the eagle.
For Swoop. Is it for Swoop or is it just homecoming week?
It's just homecoming.
It's just homecoming week. Okay. Both mascots don't get a homecoming week. But so Julie's week is this week, and it's just basically a party every single day throughout campus. So for those who are, hopefully maybe someone is here who came to Admitted Students Day yesterday, but they got to see Wonderful Wednesday, which is a huge tradition on campus, which is every single Wednesday, just all of the different clubs at Emory line up in Asbury Circle, which is the center of campus. And they have tables for their clubs, and it's just a huge dance party basically in the center of campus. So maybe I'll ask the question of, speaking of Wonderful Wednesday, what's your favorite Emory tradition? Oh, thank you.
Ooh, I want to take it.
Okay, go.
My favorite Emory tradition is the Coke toast, the Coca-Cola toast. And this occurs at your orientation. You'll probably do one at a mid-students day if you come. But it occurs at an orientation with our president, James Wagner, and then it occurs again at graduation. And to me, it's so meaningful. Basically, you guys know Atlanta is the hub of Coca-Cola. And so you all get during orientation, the students, your parents, and all of your new friends all, raise a glass of Coca-Cola to, to toast the new year. And then it comes full circle. I actually saved my Coke bottle. And it comes full circle. You'll use a new Coke bottle when you're a senior. But then when you're a senior and you do it again, it just kind of culminates your entire Emory experience. I've had a lot of interactions with Coca-Cola, but it's kind of representative of that on campus and also just kind of the full circle.
Yeah, my favorite Emory tradition is Songfest. It's just one of the most amazing events on campus, and you get to do it your first year here at Emory, and right away. So when you come in as first year students, basically what Songfest is your essays and RAs have compiled a list of songs which they've rewritten the lyrics to, so common songs like Cheerleader,
maybe you should sing some for them.
It's I think that I found myself in Raoul Hall. You see how they change the lyrics to fit more of the Emory style or the hall that you're in, and so all the residence halls compete against each other with these mixed up lyrics, and they all come together and they create a dance routine with a singing routine, and it's just the most hyped up day first semester, and it just makes you so excited to be here at Emory and so excited for what's to come, and that isn't even the end of it. That's the crazy part. Just the greatness of Emory continues. And I know this sounds a little cheesy, but it really does, and just it opens your eyes to all there is, both fun and all the friends that you can make here at Emory.
Do you have a favorite Emory tradition? Was it also Songfest?
No, it's Dooley's Week.
Okay,
yeah,
it's this week.
It's a very reasonable choice.
I agree.
To piggyback off of Songfest, so what's great about it is that you also have an orientation leader, as we previously mentioned, and the orientation leaders also have their own song and dance that they perform before all of the different first-year residence halls go. So I got to be an orientation leader this past fall, which was such an incredible experience. So I got to go through Songfest a second time, which was amazing. So Songfest is great, and I highly recommend you go to YouTube and you look up Emory Songfest and watch the videos because they're hilarious.
Do you want to answer the next question?
Sure.
So, what are the kind of activities that Oxford and main campus do together?
That kind of goes into Dooley's Week, actually.
Yeah.
So what's great about having Oxford and Emory is that we're so collaborative in so many different ways. So for example, tonight, the DJ Khaled concert, so many students from Oxford are coming to the concert because it's in no way two exclusive campuses. There's so much interaction. And what's great also is that there's a shuttle that goes back and forth between Emory and Oxford all day long. So if you have friends at Oxford, if you want to use the Oxford Library, anything like that, you can definitely do that.
I have a lot of friends that I met through these concerts and homecoming weeks and that kind of thing that I keep up with. So yeah, it's great.
And especially a lot of the weekend events, a lot of times Oxford, students at Oxford College will come up to the main campus and will join in on weekend events like Holy, which was a celebration of colors that we had last weekend, or events such as that.
Today, the whole cohort of 2019 is on campus right now from Oxford to see DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
So all these events will come together, and oftentimes we'll go there too. I know that I went there just to attend a meeting and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of both ways, and so there's a lot of interaction there.
Yeah, definitely.
So we can answer that question, the first one.
Yeah.
I can
How easy is it for an Emory student to study abroad, especially in this?
Did you want to pop Julie?
In this, so let's talk about a little bit about study abroad.
Yeah.
So about 50% of the students here at Emory participate in study abroad. It is something that I would love to take advantage of during my junior year with the Neuroscience and Behavioral Biology program. So it is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing that, we get to travel the world, especially at such a young age. And through the Neuroscience and Behavioral Biology, I see that we have a question of relating a science major and study abroad. I get to go to Paris and do research as well as take neuroscience courses right by the Tour Eiffel. It's one of these opportunities that are absolutely amazing. On that note, Emory partners with over 140 institutions from all over the world. And for example, my sophomore advisor, his name is Ben, will be traveling.
I love them. Sorry.
Myself, my advisor, will be able to go on to Oxford University in the United Kingdom to study political science, economics, and philosophy as a visiting student. So he's taking a whole year off at Emory through study abroad to go to Oxford.
And what's great about it is it applies to so many different majors. Like I have a friend who's a film studies major that's studying abroad. It's going to study abroad in the University of Sydney in Sydney, Australia. And so like all those different things, like no matter what field you're in, there's definitely like study abroad opportunities that are available.
Absolutely.
What I was going to say was I'm going to be an RA, which we mentioned previously, next year. So I won't be going abroad, but a lot of my friends will be going abroad for a semester in the fall. And I'm sure Grace can second this, but we're very sad to see our friends go, but really excited for them because studying abroad is a really great opportunity and it's so easy to do. And it's really highly encouraged, which I think is great.
Sure. Yeah. I think we should do the top question.
Yes.
I got it.
Okay, so
Hey
far.
guys, up close and personal. So I will start talking about this question. I think it's a really important one and one that I think we should address. So it says Emory has around 20 rapes on campus each year. And in the wake of kind of the developments that occurred around UVA, what is Emory doing to stand out by addressing the issues of rape on campus and sexual assault? So I think that's a really important question. That's one that I actually asked when I was looking at different schools. Unfortunately, that statistic is representative of college culture, and that is something that Emory is actively trying to change, and I've appreciated that. So I'll talk a little bit about the community of care, and I hope you guys can kind of echo it as well. But one of my favorite programs on Emory's campus is called SAPA, so it's Sexual Assault Peer Advocates. And so a large percentage, I'm not sure what it is, and I don't want to botch it, but a large percentage of students are SAPA trained, which means that they are first responders if somebody is has gone through a traumatic experience regarding sexual assault. They are the first kind of people that can talk you through it and talk about that emotional experience and that kind of thing. Of course, there are medical professionals as well and great kind of consulting services and that kind of thing, counseling services on campus as well. If you guys want to continue.
It definitely is a triggering issue all over the United States, but an amazing resource that helps students who have been unfortunate victims of this tragic accident is the Counseling and Psychological Services. CAPS is a free service that all students across the college can take advantage of. It's a service in which you will be able to receive counseling again and psychological services, and it's available to all students. The staff is absolutely amazing, trained. We have clinical psychologists. We have all sorts of professionals that can help you overcome these unfortunate issues.
And Emory does like an amazing job, I think, at pre-education too. So not just about like helping the victims, but helping things not even get started in the first place. And so when you come here, your first year at Emory, as you mentioned, like there's a lot of education that goes on. Like I remember, like I sat down and was like, oh, what's this meeting that we have to go to? Like our second day of school, and it just turned out that it was like about a very, very important topic. And so we all got better educated, and what's great is like nobody like laughed at the topic. Everybody was really serious about it. And so we all learned, and we all like the first week we were here at Emory, we all knew or like we were all educated on what we should expect and what to do and what not to do. And like we all understood that for the most part. And so it's just great that Emory has like this initiative that right away they want to educate us on this.
And Emory is actually actively looking at bolstering those programs as well, and they have in the past, especially in the wake of UVA event and other events as well. So one thing that I would encourage you guys to do is search, a quick Google search of Emory's community of care. That's what we call it, and kind of all of these things that we discussed, the CAPS program and Emory Helpline and SAPA and those kind of things are under that community of care umbrella, and you can kind of learn more specifically all the resources that are available, not only for sexual assault but for anything that's going on, personally.
The beauty about Emory is that we are an extremely socially engaged campus. On campus, there are students who are constantly bringing up delicate issues in order to make change, not only here at Emory, but in the greater community and in the United States. Just a couple days ago, Active Minds, which is an organization that promotes the conversation about certain topics, came to Emory and laid in the quad several backpacks to represent the lives of college students that have been lost via suicide. And it was, a very touching exhibit that covered a whole campus quad. it shows to you how socially active Emory is about the prevention of tragic issues like the ones that were spoken about.
Yeah. So thank you guys for asking that question. I do think it's an important one to address.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
And I also, yeah,
What were you gonna say?
sorry, I was just also going to say, I see a lot of questions about financial aid and scholarships and that kind of thing. It's great that you guys want to engage about that, but only because we're, current students, we are not really, adept at answering those questions. And so we really encourage you either to call the admissions officer or to email admission@emory.edu for those, financial related questions.
Yeah.
There was a question that related at the opportunities that Emory gave to students as pre-medical students. And as a pre-medical student, I can tell you that, the benefits that I get out of the pre-medical program here at Emory are endless. So just around campus, we have the Emory Healthcare System Hospital, the Emory Clinic, Winship Cancer Institute, the Emory VA Hospital, the Eggleston Children's Hospital, Emory Smithtown Hospital, Executive Park, just a couple minutes away, has the Orthopedics and Spinal Surgery Center. We have Wesley Woods. We have Grady Hospital. I just want to point out to the audience over here that Emory is a heaven to pre-medical students. Right now, I am volunteering at the Emory Clinic on Thursdays and Fridays, and I am also volunteering at Grady's on the weekends. So it just to put it out.
And I will also say that Emory is a heaven for students who are also not pre-professional too. So that's something that I feel like is really important to address, because I get a ton of questions from from prospective students that are like, if I'm not pre-professional, am I going to be okay here? And that is totally true. I would say that it's a heaven for all of us. No, of course, You're right, though. While we have wonderful pre-med opportunities, I would say that it's also a haven for the liberal arts as well. And just a place that really nurtures the value of an education where you have just such a multidisciplinary approach to, analytical thinking. And that's something that Emory really prides itself upon.
Yeah, one of my closest friends actually came in wanting to be pre-professional, but the fact that Emory offers so many different courses over a wide range of disciplines made them kind of think about maybe I should explore different opportunities that Emory offers. And I think that's one of the great things here. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the fact that there are so many different courses from so many wide disciplines that you can just take advantage of. And so you don't have to be pre-professional, and you can explore so much and learn so much. And that's what's so great about it.
And just to make a quick example, Julian and I have a common friend. Her name is Angela, who is actually a business student in the business school. So she's off to great things. But at the same time, she's also taking a course in the theater department on how to become a clown.
Yeah.
Again, it's that value of the interdisciplinary arts and sciences that makes the liberal arts education here at Emory. I'm on the pre-med track, yes, and I do get the pre-med opportunity, yes, but I'm also a neuroscience and international affairs student on campus.
Yeah.
What more could you possibly want?
And I also saw a question about the variety of courses on campus, and I think that kind of goes along with it. The fact that we have so many different unique courses on campus, and not just from so many different disciplines, but just so many different topics that you wouldn't initially think of. I took a course that was just about the concept of art, what it was, and it was a course of 10 different people, and it was technically in the dance department, but we talked about fear, and we talked about artists, and how making art was such a controversial topic, but it was so important to each individual person, no matter what field you're going in.
That's awesome. That was a great question.
So
So maybe one more question, and then we will wrap it up.
Yeah. So why don't
Think of a good one.
I see that you guys are watching the Snapchats. I'm glad. Major
Yay!
P.
Yeah.
Another one.
Again, anybody with questions about financial aid or things related to that, or scholarships, please refer yourself to the financial aid office.
Yeah.
Or things like that.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to point out that as a student from a low-income family and who is first generation, I want to point out to you that the real true diversity in heart and soul of the Emory community. Here we have students who have had great privileges during their lives, as well as students who have gone through a lot of challenges through their lives and have become better because of that. It's very important to me and up to a lot of people who are coming into the cohort of the new class and in my class to know that there is a community where not everyone is super wealthy and not everyone is super poor. There is a lot of intersectionality between people that foster conversation, and there's always going to be people there for you.
And side note, for those of you that are wondering, some of us are going to TJ Khaled after.
Oh, yes,
We're just here first because we care about you.
Yes.
But yeah.
So yeah, in the same vein as Snapchat stories, I just have a shameless plug because Natalie and I work in admissions, and I would like to tell you guys, be sure to engage with us on social media as much as you can. So you might be so sad that this Google Hangout is over. I know I am, but you can continue to engage with us. Snapchat, BuzzFeed, Facebook, Instagram, website. I'm sure there's more that I'm missing. The blog.
We have a really, really great admission blog with a lot of different blogs from students and professors, and we actually have one blog going out every single day in April. So we highly recommend you check that out.
We also have a document on the Facebook page for admitted students with a bunch of students that you can contact with your questions, and they're so eager and so excited to answer them. I answered a ton last year and I loved it. So.
Yeah, if you have more general questions, you could just direct it to the Facebook group, but if you have like specific questions that you don't necessarily want anybody to hear, any of us or anybody on that list would be happy to answer that for you.
Definitely.
And for the questions that we didn't get to answer today, I will be more than glad to answer them on the Facebook group.
Yeah, definitely.
Or next week
Or
on
next
Google
week
Hangout.
on the next Google.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to wrap it up, but we hope that we answered your questions. And again, if you have any more questions, please just ask on the Facebook group. Well, bye.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.